Hello. Can we take a minute to talk about the saying, your feelings are valid, your emotions are valid? So, I have some trouble with this. Your feelings are your feelings. They exist. Something happens in the world, you have an emotional reaction to it. That emotional, instinctual reaction is not under your control. Your feelings are real. They exist. They deserve to be recognized as real. Are they valid? Is an entirely separate and distinct understanding of what an emotion is for. There are many, many times in our lives where our emotions are not valid. An emotion is an instinctual response. It is related to who you are as a person, what kind of growth you've done, what your history has been like, what kind of trauma responses have you ingrained in yourself, what kind of responses in general have you ingrained in yourself. That is where your emotion comes from. If your background is imperfect, because all of our backgrounds are imperfect, if our histories are imperfect, a lot of times we will not have learned appropriate and reasonable emotional responses. And so something happens in our environment, it is real, we have an emotional reaction. That emotion is real. We need to think and process the emotion. That is all true. Is the emotion itself valid and like a reasonable response to what happened in your environment? Maybe, maybe not. Our emotions come from us. They have nothing to do with anyone else. If my partner says something to me and I have an emotional reaction to it, right? Whether that emotional reaction is valid or not is entirely situational and contextual, right? If they were abusive to me and I have an anger response, that response is valid. That emotional response is valid. If they say that they don't like the kind of yogurt I bought and I have an anger response, that emotional response might not be valid. It is still true. It is still what happened. But that valid piece is totally distinct and separate. And so when you see people say your emotions are valid, I just want you to consider why you want that to be true. What does that do for you if it were true that all of your emotions were valid? Do you need all your emotions to be valid? Or just real?